My mother was raised in a large family. 5 kids, both parents, grandma at home. She has always been familiar with the importance of having a family to rely on, a village. The sense of community and cooperation within her family played a huge role in helping her succeed and become who she is today. What she didn't expect was to find herself alone, in a different country, away from her family, raising a child by herself. She knew she would need a village. What she didn't know was that she was going to have to build her own. As a well-educated young woman with a newborn, she used her imagination to find ways to get by. One of the ideas her and friends came up with was to make their own baby clothes. They all had children around the same age, and it seemed right. However, with her friends being artists and my mother being a savvy businesswoman in the making, they realized they could take this much further, but they would need help. Now they had an issue. Where could they find enough people to help knit the clothes as a complete startup with very limited resources? This is when they found the women of the 31st Village. The 31st Village was a community in Argentina formed by people who had nowhere else to go and gravitated towards a patch of land owned by the state in the city center. They settled down by pitching up homes side by side, one on top of the other, until an entire community was formed. They weren't quite welcome with open arms, as they had set up tent right by the most expensive area in the city, upsetting some of its residents. But the government wouldn't take them away because they would lose popularity and votes. So instead, they attempted to get them to leave by giving them support. This didn't work though, because they never seemed to follow through on their promises, leading to the new residents of the land to just return. These communities were full of poor but hardworking people who built a community for themselves. They had no electricity or running water, so they connected to the energy of the city and used septic plumbing. They built precarious homes, schools, churches. It was dangerous and not quite stable, but it was their home, a city within the city. The women in this community were often left at home to care for the children, as is common in many Hispanic communities, especially those less fortunate. This meant they couldn't get money the traditional way. They couldn't leave the house to go to work, so they had to get creative. Most of them knew how to knit, a little skill they learned at a young age from their older female relatives, and had always used this skill around their home. They made their kids clothes, curtains, blankets, anything they could think of. My mother and her friend reached out to these women to offer them an opportunity. They got as many of them together as they could, and they gave them a space to work, materials, tools. They paid for every piece of clothing they completed. The women of the village weren't their employees, though. My mom was their client. This meant they were not limited and could work with whoever they wanted, could sell as much as they could produce, and open up a great source of income for these families. However, they knew this wasn't enough. The objective was to awaken the women's sense of entrepreneurship, giving them the ability to continue the work on their own, to grow and expand. They didn't want this all to end as soon as they walked out. So they did what they could. They gave them classes on business, accounting, how to handle money well. This organization became a staple in the community. Women flow through as they need to. They come when they need work, leave when they feel done. Young women who are working themselves through school work in their mid-time. The veterans teach the newbies. Their clientele seems ever expanding, with their work reaching all the way to Italy. There is always a space for whoever needs it. They never say no to a request. They say, "Teach me and I will do it," constantly gaining new skills. It is a network of never-ending opportunities, forever expanding, with each woman's wisdom feeding the community. It is their own village.